Okay guys, it has been quite a week of releases for Games Workshop. They have very kindly sent me over, for instance, all the new Leagues of Votann stuff is here. And originally the model I wanted to do for today was the Thrice Swallow, this awesome new Leagues of Votann character with the huge big like scalped Tyranid cape all down his back and stuff. He's absolutely incredible. But alongside these releases, they also very kindly sent over the new Vulkan He'stan model. And everybody knows that Space Marines just do better on YouTube. So I am going to start off these releases with this awesome guy, and then I will get to some Leagues of Votann releases later this week. Please do let me know in the comments below which things from the new release of the Leagues of Votann you specifically want to see so that I can plan accordingly. Before I get to the video, I just want to say a huge thank you to all of my active patrons and everyone who is a channel member on YouTube. Without you guys, I really could not continue doing what I'm doing from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. If you guys are interested in getting involved with that, use links down below. You get access to a private Discord server, and you also get access to an extra video every single week just for you. So that's two awesome reasons to get involved. If you cannot follow and support me financially, do think about supporting by giving this video a like and making sure you're subscribed to the channel. Those things cost you nothing, but they make a huge difference as to how many people see these videos and how quickly the channel grows. And lastly, but by no means leastly, there's links down below for affiliate links for different stores, whether you're in Ireland, whether you're in the UK, or whether in the rest of Europe. There's links down below. Element Games, for instance, if you're in the United Kingdom. If you click on those links, do your Warhammer or any other hobby purchases there, you'll save yourself like 15 to 20%, and also the channel will get a nice little kickback too. Okay, all that stuff is now out of the way. We can dive in and get this salamander painted up. The salamander painted up. Okay, so we have the beautiful new Vulkan He'stan model. Obviously, he's coming out with all of the new Leagues of Votann, like I said in the intro. I will be doing a bunch of Leagues of Votann videos, but I thought this guy would be the first one to get out. I will, if Games Workshop send me the rest of the awesome new Space Marine characters, I will be doing them all as videos. If they don't send me all of them, I'll still be buying Lysander because I'm an Imperial Fifth boy at heart, and I'll be getting him done in a video as well. So when I got at the model, I was a little bit concerned by how warped the sprue was. That was a little bit concerning. But all the parts were in perfect condition and the model went together like a dream. And he is so beautiful. I think he might have the nicest glow up of any of the models, because I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart, but the old metal Vulkan He'stan model was absolutely trash. It was just such a poorly designed figure, and we figured it out. It took us a while for like our eyes to figure out what was wrong with it. If you go back and look at the old Vulkan He'stan model, the direction is shown on the model in like 4 different places. And by that I mean like he's throwing his spear one way, his cloak is billowing one way, flames are billowing one way, and he's walking one way, and none of them are the same. So I don't know whether he's in a whirlpool or something back then, but it was just awful. Whereas this one, he is walking purposely forward, spear down, fire. He looks incredible. So I got the model sprayed black and sprayed a light gray color to give me the perfect base coat for applying contrast. People inevitably always ask me how I prime miniatures in every video, in every comment section. There is a link down below to a video where I show people how to do all the spraying and stuff like that. So if you're curious as to how I do it, like I said, there's a little video down there where I talk about how I do my kind of zenithal priming with rattle cans to get models ready for paint. I then threw the warp lightning contrast across all of his armor. And then I reached for my Black Templar and I went in and blocked in all the other black parts of this miniature. So all of like the cabling, any of the connecting pieces with the power armor, any of those like soft seals and joints, inner elbows and behind the knees and all those kind of bits that are supposed to be black. And also he's supposed to have a black backpack, Salamanders, so I did that as well. His left greave, pommel, wrist armor, whatever, was supposed to be black as well around that dragon head symbol, but I just wanted it to be green. I wanted a little bit more green armor than that, so I decided to leave it green. If you want to copy the box art exactly, then you can do that bit around that hand in black if you so wish. Now onto the cloak, and the cloak is the thing that I'll be changing the most from the actual box art. And why will I be changing it? I'm really not a big fan of the, a cloak being one color on the outside and one color on the inside. I find that always really irritating. I can never get the line where like one color starts and one color ends as clean and as neat as I would have liked it. Plus, I don't like the like white inner cloak colors. It's not for me. You can, of course, decide to go and do that if you want. For me, I'm going to do it all red. So I did the entire outside and inside of the cloak and his tabard, his loincloth bit in red as well. All those beautiful dragon scales. And we're going to be putting probably the most amount of time into painting this miniature is going to be on layering up that cloak. We're going to make it look really nice. I think it's going to be awesome. From here, we threw the metallics on. So obviously we did all the gold trim. Retributor armor was used. And obviously he is wearing some very, very ornate armor. His whole purpose is to collect all the relics from actually the Primarch Vulkan He'stan. So everything about him is real ornate. So make sure you take your time and get all those gold bits on. Silver is then used, lead belcher, for all the silver details. Haft of the spear, the actual blade of the spear. And then a couple of other details around there. One of the things to be very careful with when you're applying, say, the green contrast at the start is you will notice that the green, or the dragon symbol on his wrist and around his back banner armor piece and kind of around his like cod piece there is left white. That I'm leaving that as the color of the spray as the base coat. So when you're going around with those details, be careful not to just hit those bits with green or with gold or with silver, or count those white bits as base coated and be careful painting them. Okay, we threw on all of the base coats that we needed for this miniature and he is looking fairly clean. It's time to wash him down. Now for this, I do go for null and all, which I know is obviously quite dark. It's a black shade, but I do like pushing this model really far down, kind of tying all those tones together. And then when I go into the layering stage, I like to make them pop. So all the recesses are nice and dark and it makes all the awesome details in this guy really pop and scream. It's something I've been doing for all my Salamanders models that I've done videos for previously. I know that it works, so I'm going to stick with it. I know some people may be watching now being like, what in the hell is this guy doing? Please do trust the process. Every model has an ugly stage. We're currently pushing this model into that stage, but by the end of layering, it will be nice. I forgot to hold up the paint here, so I do apologize, but this is Warpstone Glow that we are currently using to layer up the green armor. We're going to take our time. Warpstone Glow is quite a thin paint, so on larger, flatter panels like that huge shin pad that I'm currently painting, you may need a second coat while layering. So make sure you do that, and obviously take your time and go around the kind of gold or the fire motif around the gold, leaving some nice dark shadows in all the recesses. This will help that detail pop off the model really well. Obviously taking my time to go around the He'stan helmet. And as you can see, there is loads of green, but it's quite separate. All the parts and panels are separate, so you do have to make sure you don't miss any of the parts when you are layering this section. I almost missed those two little like coin-shaped armor pieces, like the tilt shield areas. When I was layering up, I actually got to go back and layer it up again. We then grabbed a Corvus black and we layered up all the black areas. So I decided to do his pistol holster in black, some of his belt, and then of course his backpack is done in Corvus black as well. If you decided to go and do the greave or vambrace in black, this is where you would layer that up as well. Looking neat and tidy. Obviously I've done the base as I've been going along. I'm not going to show you how I did that. You guys can do your bases however you like them. Mephiston Red, Evil Sun Scarlet, Wild Rider Red are the three colors that I shall be using to layer up the cloak. Obviously I'm going to be taking my time. I consider the huge Drake cloak that he wears to be one of the key features of the model, and I think I've said this before in videos, if you just pick one or two parts of the model and put a little bit more effort into those areas, that's where people's eyes will be drawn to. And obviously it looked like you put that much effort into the entire model, when in fact you did not. So just take your time and layer up this cloak. As you can see, I'm already on the second color, Evil Sun Scarlet. And we are very carefully going around the edges, all the different scales, and leaving the kind of darker, richer red behind as we go. And then when we do jump to the final highlight red, the Wild Rider Red, you can see the brush strokes now are very much like I'm painting. Whereas when it gets to the last highlight, I'm almost just kind of stippling with the very tip of the brush. I'm just leaving this really rough highlight behind here. You can see it on the highest point, because if you do like kind of big brush strokes with this color, it will turn orange, and we don't want orange. We want it to be a nice rich red. So with that stabbing motion, we can definitely achieve that. And like I said, make it look like we put so much effort in when really we didn't. It only took maybe 5 minutes to paint this cloak. So even if you were deciding to do a squad of Terminators or Drakesworn Terminators or something, and they had all these kind of extra details, you could fly through the unit. Like I said, I'd say about 40% of this model is made up of this cloak, including the loincloth piece, obviously. So it is nice when it all comes together really well, and it looks awesome. So when I hold this model up to camera now and you're looking at it, you can't even really tell yet that I haven't layered up the gold, or I haven't done anything with the eye lenses or the fire. The red is just so standoutish that it steals your attention away. So that means when we do go in and highlight the rest of it, the model will just look really clean. So to layer up all of the metallics, we're going to go back to Lead Belcher, and we're basically going to do the same step we did with that last highlight of red, where I was just using the very tip of the brush and I was almost stippling in certain areas, kind of sharp edges or rivets, stuff like that. It will leave the gold look behind, but it will be very nice and highlighted. It won't turn it silver or anything, don't worry. Unless you kind of overdo it and do too much, then it will turn silver. So, you know, practice with this. It's a cool skill to have if you can just highlight gold and silver with the same silver paint and get a really nice result. So I think all the gold here still looks very much gold, even though it was highlighted with silver. Tiny bit of pink heart was used to highlight the shaft of the spear. Obviously we use the Volupus pink contrast paint to block this in. It's not the requested color on the thing. I think they blocked it in silver, which I don't think it's meant to be. I don't even know if the designers, like who sculpted the model, intended it to be silver, but the guys who painted it did, so I don't know. I think it was meant to be like a wrap, like power armored swords and their handles and everything like that, but I just like adding that bit of color. Okay, for the fire. Now, the fire is another bizarre thing that I change everything around on, and some people get confused. And here is my honest thoughts, and people can argue with me in the comment section all they want. It's just the way I prefer it, and that is when I'm painting fire for miniatures, I go backwards. I know the core of flame is white, and then it gets darker and darker the further out it is. I like it the other way. So I started by contrasting in with a dark red, then I dry brush it orange, I dry brush it yellow, and I dry brush it white, getting lighter and lighter each time we go, catching less and less of the fire. So here is the orange done. We will now jump over to the yellow and do the edges of it with that. You can see it's starting to add in that kind of fiery warmth to it. And then after that, we are going to go over to a pure white, and we will use this, but we'll like very sparingly. There'll be very little left on the brush, and we're just aiming for the kind of really sharp edges on the top of the fire with that. I think this looks really cool. I think it's not as kind of, gaudy is not the right word, because obviously when the painters do it right, it looks incredible. But I think this doesn't steal the attention away from the rest of the miniature, but I think it still very much reads as flame and fire when you look at the model. I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Do you think it looks weird? Does it catch your eye as being wrong? Or do you think it fits in with the model and looks right? Please do let me know in the comments below. Celestia Grey was used to highlight all those little white details we talked about earlier. So the dragon's head in the belt buckle, in his greave, and then of course going down his flaming pack on his back. His back banner has it. And all we're doing is just a very light highlight with this. We did go in with, you know, bone colors, and we highlighted all of the like parchment and purity seals and stuff that hang off his spear, that hang down his back. The wax seal was done pretty much the same as the axe handle. We did that in like an off pink color. And there's a couple other details. Eye lenses, we painted eye lenses. We've shown you how to paint eye lenses a million times before. But with all those little extra details done, this is the finished Vulkan He'stan miniature. I really like the final result. I'm quite pleased with it. I will actually be doing another Salamander video in the next week or so using some Great Tide Studio extra parts, and I promise you it looks absolutely incredible. So wait until you see this guy. Before I go, I, as usual, have to protect my miniature, so I stick a Warmag magnet on the base. And because I'm not actually doing a Salamander army right now, these models can tend to get kind of shoved in shelves and broken and forgotten. So I do really like having a place to store them. And you can, the example inside this case kind of proves it. There's a bunch of Ultramarines characters and stuff in here which I've kind of forgotten about, but whenever I do go back to those projects, I know the models are in these cases, not touching off each other, not like wrecked or anything like that. They're safe and sound, dust free, on my shelf, ready. So big kudos to Warmags for that. If you want to check them out, they will be linked down below. This is the finished Vulkan He'stan miniature. Absolutely delighted with how he looks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and learned a thing or two about painting salamanders, and hopefully you're looking forward to more videos in the very near future.